Oh, well, thank you for joining us. Welcome to the post-workout, Christopher Luera, aka Tatted Strength, three-time Battle of the Bars middleweight champion, also the author of Beyond the Bars from Prison to Podium. Welcome.
Thank you for having me, Christian.
Yeah. Is there anything you want to plug in before we get started with this?
No,
No?
the Crystal Luera Foundation is on the ground floor, and we are looking to open two facilities to help some people in need. So that is a project that is in the works.
Awesome. Now, from going from being institutionalized and then into the public atmosphere and then going into personal training, what was it like what was that transition like for you?
It was probably one of the most difficult ones, honestly. I got into fitness as an athlete, I guess, or not even into it as an athlete. I was introduced to calisthenics and fitness in a serious way after my mom passed away. And so I was coming out of a depression, and really it was only like fuel to help me keep moving through each day, emotional and mentally. Um, then once I got into fitness and I started to feel good again in the sense of coming out of the depression, I became an athlete and found out that it was a sport, there was competitions. So I then started to compete, and after competing, then started becoming a trainer. Like after winning some competitions, learning more about fitness, and that was a whole transition period. Like throughout that whole time of finding fitness and its benefits, other than physical strength, but emotional and mental. Um, from the journey of finding fitness to the day that I became a trainer and I started to hand over information that was helpful, that was a very difficult process, kind of long. It was like a few years in the making.
What was the feeling like when someone had asked you to compete the first time? What was running through your head?
I was honestly very shocked, um, because, like I mentioned right now, I got introduced to fitness coming out of a depression. Like I was very, very dark period of my life, and when I found calisthenics and fitness, it was something that just made me feel good. It gave me joy when I didn't have it for so long. And so once Ken actually, like yourself and a few of the other guys that we were all trained with on a daily basis, started to say things like, "Hey man, you're gonna compete, you're gonna go battle at bars, you're gonna battle," and honestly, like it felt good to hear that, but I only took it as these guys are cool. You know, they're really good, they're really cool, they're really supportive. We're all trying to build each other up. But then when it came down to Ken saying like, "Hey, I signed you up to battle the bars, you got a slot," and I was my first reaction was like, "Nah, dude, I can't. I'm not ready. I just started." And then he asked me like, "I need athletes, dude. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we need athletes. We're gonna do a 16-man tournament. We need 16 athletes at least." Um, and I was like, "All right, dude, I'll do it. Like, I'll do it as a favor, you know." But he was like, "Dude, you're gonna do good. You know, like I need athletes. Please do it for me, and you're gonna do good, dude. You're probably winning." And it was a real nonchalant, like kind of just in passing, him saying like, "Oh, dude, no, you're gonna do good. You're gonna kill it, dude. You probably win." Like,
Hmm.
felt amazing, dude. Fitness,
Well,
everything about Ralph. My book is all
mhm.
about my life before fitness and about positive, like the positivity that I carry today. So, um, to have individuals like yourself, like Ken, all of Raw movement. You know, none of you guys were from the walk of life that I had come from, and I was so stuck deep down in that dark part of life that I didn't associate and hang out with people that had, a job, that was trying to build a career, that was thinking about going to school, about changing their major, so to hang out with you guys and to feel the support and the love and camaraderie, it felt amazing just to be there with you guys. But then to start hearing you guys say those things, and Ken, the designer, like the founder of Barrel Bars, was like, bro, I already signed you up and you're probably gonna win. It was like little milestones of like, this is what I want to do. Like, this is what is going to change me.
I didn't know that Ken had signed you up. I thought you had gone on your own accord to do that. So he just kind of just said, like, I signed you up. You're doing it. You're going
Yeah,
because
yeah, because we were talking about it. Battle of the Bars is coming up, and everyone's talking about it at the park and at the beach. And I was just kind of in that mindset of like, there was like yourself and Justin, and a lot of people were like, oh yeah, dude, Tatted is gonna do it. Tatted is gonna join, or he's gonna compete. Justin was competing. Everyone's like, oh yeah, we're all gonna do it. I was still kind of in the mindset of like, I'm probably gonna do it, but I don't really want to do it. I don't feel like I'm ready. I don't feel like my skill set is ready. I don't feel like my mental and my um, self confidence is ready. So it
I
just took off.
remember that Battle of the Bars too. It was the LA Fit Expo, and you were the one that won the 16-man tournament, I believe.
Yeah.
And the fact that you won it and you didn't really like you weren't really at the before that you didn't really want to get into it. You were just like, I guess so, and you end up winning it. What was that night like for you? That after that, what was that? What was the feeling that was going through you after that?
So right after Battle of the Bars, right after, like at the end of the battle, they announced that I won, and I gave my trophy, and I had um, I had family members that were there that came to see me compete, and my grandma was there. Now she's not really my grandma because I was adopted, right? Like
Mhm.
my grandma's parents, and I was adopted. So she is my sister-in-law, my brother's wife's mother.
Mhm.
Okay. Now, she and my mother that adopted me, my mother that raised me, them two were best friends. They were like childhood friends since like fourth grade.
Mhm.
Now, as they grew up, my mom had a little boy, she had a little girl, and they got married. So, my mom's best friend, childhood friend, is her mother, like my brother's mother-in-law. Do you understand
I
what I'm
got.
saying?
I'm
I
connecting. I'm.
made that all confusing. But
I got the gist of it, but it makes sense.
okay,
But
so she knows my mom very well. Not
mhm.
only are their kids married and had been married for years, they went to school together. So they knew each other since they were kids. But she's my brother's mother-in-law, right? And so she was there at the competition, and after the competition, I won. They gave me my trophy, and I'm standing there. And she came up to me and she put her hands on my face, and she said, "Your mom would be so proud." And it was over, dude. So like for years, going in and out of jail and being on drugs and everything, for years my mom would always tell me, "There's something great waiting for you if you're willing to work for it." Like she used to tell me, you can change, you can stop all this, but not just that, but that there's something great waiting for you. But you just have to be willing to work for it. And when I was standing there with my trophy and my grandma said that, I was like, this is what my mom's talking about.
You felt it
This
there.
is what we do. I felt it right there. And then from there, I went to Russia. And then that's
What?
when things got crazy.
How long after that first battle of the bars you went to Russia? Was it a few months or
I think like 3 months.
what was it like to? Did you ever think you would internationally travel
No, no.
at that?
I was for a long period of my time. At 15 years old, I told my mom that you have to let me go. Like I'm gonna die in jail. Both my biological parents were drug addicts. They were in and out of jail their entire lives. This is what I came from, and this is what I am. This is what I'm gonna die. And so at 15, I was like, the the sooner that we both accept on a deep level that I'm gonna die in here. I'm never gonna be anything. I'm gonna be a drug addict. I'm gonna die in the street, or I'm gonna die in a prison cell. The sooner that we both accept that understanding, it's gonna hurt less each time I come in here. Because each time I keep coming in here, it's a shatter of the idea that I could have changed. Hey, I got hope for him this, oh, he's back inside. I got hope for him this, no, he's back inside. So at 15, I was like, dude, I need to accept this, and you need to accept this too. So for years of my life, dude, I thought I was gonna die in a prison cell. Like I thought Arizona, Nevada, like Vegas, dude, was like the farthest I was gonna travel ever. But now, dude, like I went to Russia, to Norway, to Dubai, been in 19 countries now.
19?
19 countries.
That's right. You did a European tour as well.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I did a whole European tour.
There is a story though. I remember you told me, or I remember you told a group of us. If you want to take this part out, I'll take it out. But I remember you would tell us that you made chimichangas in jail.
So we there's like a hot pot, right?
Okay.
There's how you make top ramen. Top ramen noodles is like one of your like your main food in prison. And they sell you a hot pot, which is it's like a little kettle that you fill it with water, you plug it in, and turns the water hot. It has like a little ceramic plate on the bottom of it to heat the water. So what people do is they'll take that plate out of the thing, so now they have like a heating element. So it can like boil water. It can do like you plug it in, it turns red hot, right? So what we would do is that we got two of them, and we would put a soda can, and then put the metal lid on top of the soda can. So two of them, and then we stole a pan from the kitchen, and then we would still. I mean, we're feeding thousands of people, so like there's like butter and all that different stuff. Is a lot of it. So we would steal butter like bags, dude, bags of butter like this. And then so we would turn this thing into like a little deep fryer, and we would just make regular spread, some top ramen, some sausages, and make a burrito, and then deep fry it. Dude, we killed them,
Wait, wait,
dude.
could
That
you,
was for $1, dude, and it was or like $2 for that, dude. You would get like in the burrito, you would get like a fourth of a soup, just like but then it would cost you like 10 soups.
it wouldn't smell though all around at all? Like
Yeah,
would
yeah, it
guards
would.
just would guards just be like look the other way basically? Be like,
A prison yard, like okay, so like this time I was on when I did this when I was in Jamestown, and the way Jamestown is set up is like it's unique. It's like imagine like your regular idea of a prison building
hmm
with cells, but instead of cells, it has dorms. So it has 36 man, I think 36-man dorms, and it's like all wrapped around the yard. So there's like 20, maybe it's a lot, 20 36-man dorms, and the guards got to watch all that. So there's a lot going on, man. There's a lot going on, you know. You just do a little chimichanga fry, dude. You know, you can get.
You know, that's like one of the one stories I heard when you first like had said it, and I was just blown away, and also kind of kept with me. I'm like, that's the coolest thing I've ever heard. But damn it, that sounds scary. That, but not to take away from what we were just talking about before. That is, I, I didn't mean to skip over, but that is a lot. That's really heavy to say to a mother, especially at a 15-year-old, a teenager who's mentally not, I would say, a teenager at that point, because you've been around basically a lot of juveniles as well who are in the same environment or same environments.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, it was a rough period.
I want to go deeper into that another time, but when you are now an athlete, you are competing, you're doing personal training. What what was it like your first fitness class or class you ever taught? What was that feeling you had in the car driving to do it?
Driving there, I was scared, dude. 100% honest. Like there, driving there, I was scared. Ken was teaching a class in Torrance, California, which is not far from me, not too far from me, and it was quite a little bit of distance from him. So he was looking to teach a class that was closer to him. And
Mm-hmm.
once he found that, he offered the class that he was teaching that was closer to me, offered if I would like to teach it. He had been teaching me and training me to become a trainer, and I had been studying my NASM and doing all that at the time. And he was like, "Would you like to take over my class?" And so I was like, "Yeah, I'm down to do that." I was scared out of my mind. Driving there, I was really scared. When I got in front of the class, I was still scared, but it was surreal, dude. It was I had four people, like four people in the class, and I think like one of them might have been you, and the other one might have been Jeff. I don't know if you were there at the very first class. I'm just saying, like it would have been like Justin and Jeff. Like I had like
Jenny,
yeah,
uh,
I had like four people in the class, and like three of them were like my daily friends or something.
do you think that
You
helped out
know?
though? The comfortability?
Yeah, totally helped out in being able to stand in front of everybody and get it done, you know. But like I had a couple people that were just part of the gym that were there. I didn't know them or anything, but it was surreal to like think for a long period of my time, dude. I was the example, like especially of my family. Like I was the example of what not to do. You know what I'm saying? Like my brother and my cousins and older family members would tell my cousins and nephews and different things like as an example, like you got to go to school or you're gonna end up like Chris. You better not drink too much or do drugs because you end up like Chris. Like I was the example of what not to do, and so to stand in front of some people that I was going to share information with them that was
Mm-hmm.
going to enrich their life, help them be stronger, move better, feel better, all these different things that they were looking to me for the advice, to lead them, to show them what to do. I was blown away, dude. It was like surreal. Like, what? Like, it's crazy.
What was your, because teaching a class is very different than one-on-one with someone. What was the feeling you had when you were one-on-one with someone personal training? What was it like to have someone look towards you for advice or guidance?
It was amazing, dude, honestly, because like with the one-on-one, you can really connect with your client. Like I I would say pretty much almost every single client I've ever had, I would say is a friend. I've had some clients that were a client and didn't really stick with the program, which
Hmm.
like people's lives have all things going on. But I'm just saying that anybody that I've got into a program with, I don't really even technically we're exchanging services, but I'm like they're a friend, and so you're helping them feel better, self confident, everything, dude. And you see the light brighten. Like you see someone that like, oh, like even if it's like someone that's like in super good shape, and they're like, I want to do a planche, and you're like, all right, so you start working on it, and then they start floating. They start being able to hold it, and you see that light up. Or someone's like, oh man, dude, I just don't feel good. I'm having a hard time getting moving around and doing my daily routine. And then a little time goes by, and it's like, dude, they're 15 pounds down. They feel light. They're bubbly. You just see that, and you're assisting that,
Hmm.
and that's just like amazing to me, dude.
What would you say was other? What was it like being in a public speaking atmosphere? Because now you're doing talks with people when you did your European tour. You're going around talking to multiple people. You're also guiding people as well. What was it like that first time where you had a group of people, other than just being friends, complete strangers, and you're talking to them about your life and also coaching as well?
Um, it was. I would say it was. I would say it's the same thing. To the hundredth power of like teaching the class, because the thing is that like I was saying that it was surreal for me to experience something of the past life that I was involved in, and now being involved in something that like showing somebody some advice.
Mm-hmm.
Now, picking up a heavy object in a proper way so that you don't hurt yourself and that you build yourself, that's one thing. But talking about drug addiction, talking about trauma,
Mm-hmm.
foster care, depression, like dude, these things can change the trajectory of someone's entire life. Not just like picking up a dumbbell and then being like, "Oh, dude, I hurt my shoulder, my back's out. I'm gonna be out for a few weeks." Like this literally can change someone's entire life. And it's a weird thing, dude, to feel the fear of doing something, like getting ready to go on stage to talk about my life and to talk about my story and to talk to kids or people for motivation. Like it's scary, dude, to be vulnerable, to open up, to expose so much. And so it's a weird feeling for me to process that amount of fear to do something. It's like if like jumping off a cliff. Why am I gonna do this? At the same time, the feeling of the magnitude of the gratitude to be able to be in a position to do so.
Hmm.
So like waiting to go on stage, I'm like, I am so scared to do that. I don't want to do it. I want to run. I want to run out of the building and to the airport and fly away. But at the same exact time, I have such a feeling of I am so grateful to be here, to be able to do this.
Yeah, that's a beautiful feeling to have that from what I see, that pressure, but you're able to turn it into something else. Like it was, you were able to project it as you were speaking through your energy. What was your body feeling like though? Like mentally, just probably just paralysis, but your body, what was it like? Were you getting hot? Were you like someone that like
I
taps their leg?
know, honestly. So like, I didn't have the acknowledgement of my body because I was so like
So you were already out, like your mind was just like out of, or
but my
your.
body had a lot of energy. From like my manager and everybody, they're like, "Oh man, you're 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 very energetic."
I don't know if someone's ever asked you this question, but what, other than having like the attention of 100 people in the room or 10 people in the room, what is the filming like when you have a social media account or like an Instagram account and it goes from you have your friends around you following you, shouting you out, then after that, a few 100,000 people. We have 10 minutes. You have a few 100,000 people now following you, liking you, saying you messages, saying you inspire them, saying you just like their progressions of what they're doing. What is that? What are you going through there when you see all that on your phone?
To be honest, dude, I think that it has helped me in a lot of ways. There's a lot of things about social media, like the social dilemma. I don't know
Mm-hmm.
if you've seen that.
Yeah.
So, and which I am not at all saying that that is not a real thing, and like I 100% agree with all of that, and understand that social media does draw a big divide between us, and like messes us up in a lot of different ways. It's not the healthiest thing, but I grew up as a child in the sense of not thinking I was good enough. Both my biological parents were drug addicts, and they were so addicted to the drugs that they just continued doing it until they died. They killed them. And my sister and I were left, and we went to foster care and the whole thing. So then getting into drugs and gangs and everything myself, being a very bad individual, and everybody telling me that I was a very bad individual and acting that way. And I never really accepted, I never had the idea that I was good. Like maybe I was good at crime, like maybe I was good at stealing or something like. But so um, when I started doing calisthenics, I doing my handstands and planches and post these pictures on Instagram, these videos. People be like, "Oh man, you're so strong, dude, and that's really cool." Like it helped me to feel that inside myself.
So you saw it as more of a positive, like you didn't intake it like a lot of other people have before, where they got to that certain amount and then didn't get anything and it just like dropped mentally. You
Yeah,
stayed level.
the thing is, dude, is that 100% honest, I still struggle with my life. I struggle with depression. It
Mm-hmm.
comes in, it's a constant battle. Um, so I'm always, like I still weigh down myself about my and everything, even though so many years later. But so I feel like it has been a positive thing in my life to help me believe in myself more,
Mm-hmm.
point where I could get to this point to help others believe in themselves.
Damn, Chris, that's a beautiful way to put it. And I think that's where we'll end it right there. Like, is there anything you want to say at the end for the people? Anything you want to tell them?
Nah, man, I'm very grateful to be here. Keep hope alive. So for anybody that's understand, like you guys can check me out. I have a thing. My whole thing about hope is harnessing opportunity, personal experience. So the thing is that we've all had hard days, right? We've all had hard days. Some of us have had harder days than others. So maybe some days, some people might be like, "Oh, dude, Like I lost my mom. That was a very hard day. Other people may not have experienced something so severe, but them going through some other trial was very severe for them at that period of time. And if they're still here today, they made it through that, right?
Mhm.
Each time that we hit a wall and we feel like we can't go on, I can't do this anymore, man. I can't do this anymore. I don't know what's good. If we can take a second, because sometimes it's hard to be like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to take my next step. Tomorrow's going to be better. That's hard to think like that. But if you can take a second and think back, I've had bad days. I've had horrible days, and I've made it through those. So now I'm going to move forward with the positive idea that I can make it through this bad time because I made it through all those other bad times. So now I have the opportunity to move forward with positive energy.
Yes, you can. I got all inspired right now. I forgot I was doing this for a second. We're all ended off with there, Chris. Thank you again so much. Everyone check him out. Christopher Luera, tatted_strength on Instagram, and author of Beyond the Bars from Prison to Podium. Thank you, Chris.
Thank you very much, Christian. I appreciate it. Thank you for having me.
Of course. Thank you. Just